everyone, welcome back to another Grimgar video. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about Alice from Grimgar Volume 13 and 14. The ones that I love so much. If you guys have seen my last review of Grimgar's light novel, you would know that Volume 13 and 14 are like my least favorite. I gotta stop saying that. My most hated volumes of Grimgar because they're just not good for me. I don't like them. They're boring and I struggled to get through them. I even struggled to make this week's, well, it was last week's video for the review because it's just such a nothing burger, I feel like, in those books. But there was one aspect of those books that I kind of enjoyed. Alice is introduced in Volume 13, and Alice is a very interesting character because their personality is just kind of wild. Their personality also is there to kind of like contrast like the world that they're stuck in. Alice is just as unstable and erratic as Pirano is. Granted, we never see Alice actually do anything that they say they could do, like, for example, eat Haru, which is one of the threats that Alice gives Haru, but they do seem to be a little more unstable than your average person. And for me personally, I was kind of disappointed that Alice didn't get more screen time after these two volumes. Seeing Alice interact with the world of Grimgar, specifically after being released from Pirano, to me seemed like a really interesting idea. Granted, Alice would have like none of the powers or abilities that the other classes have, so watching them discover themselves in the Grimgar setting would have been interesting. Granted, I don't know how much space the volumes would have had with, Alice introduced as well and put into the party, but I feel like that would have been really interesting personally. And this goes back to like my biggest problem with Grimgar, and I've mentioned this in past videos. Grimgar being a light novel really restricts Grimgar as a story because you only have so many pages they can put in per volume, and they have to like, count the pages every time. And you could do so much more with Grimgar if you just had more pages and had bigger books. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of the side characters in Grimgar feel like they're kind of either just there to push plot forward or feel kind of wasted. One of the only side characters that I feel like was used perfectly was Jessie. Jessie was just introduced in one volume, and after that volume, they're kind of just mostly gone, but they do have like small moments where they seemingly seem to be helping Mary get through the whole thing that character's going through throughout the series after they come back to life. But for the most part, like side characters outside of like the Tokis and like Renji's party for the most part don't really come back all that often, and there's not much of an impact in the story with these characters. Whenever a side character is introduced into the story, they're mostly there to push the plot forward. For example, I actually forgot the name of these characters. The niece and uncle from volume 8 and 9. These two characters were just kind of there to help Haru and his party move around the area, and they don't do much. But most of these characters outside of like maybe the Typhoon Rocks aren't really as interesting as Alice is. Alice's erratic character could have been really like a lot more interesting in Haru's party. Maybe if they were allowed to hang out with Haru and his friends more, they could have had some really cool interactions with the party. And I'm aware that they don't have a class to like, be able to fight, but realistically, who cares? Like maybe the writer could have written it so Alice had her shovel for such a long time that the powers from Pirano were stuck into it. So I don't know, maybe make an excuse similar to like if someone is stuck in a world for a long time and they use the power for a long period of time, the power retains inside that item. Maybe that could have been interesting. That could have been an interesting way to make relics, because we have very little information about relics. We have really no idea how they're made. So having Alice have her shovel to get turned into a relic because it's used so much in Pirano could have been an interesting thing to do. Honestly, like at this point, I'm just trying to keep Alice relevant to the story because after volume 14, they just kind of get stuck into being Aaron Leslie's lapdog, I guess, because they're just kind of there to greet people and then fuck off. That's the only thing we know they do. It feels like Alice became a waste of a character after 14 and doesn't make a comeback. And I honestly don't think that Alice is ever going to come back for the rest of the story. And for anybody who's read volume 20 and volume 21, feel free to let me know in the comments if Alice actually makes a comeback, because I would love to know that. But like other than that, Alice just kind of disappears, and I do wish that that they come back because they are genuinely, in terms of personality, kind of interesting. But I'm pretty sure the writer of Grimgar wanted to make Alice like a main character in the party, and they just changed their mind the last second. And the reason why I think that the writer originally planned to like have Alice be a more recurring character is the fact that no other characters are on the cover aside from main characters and recurring characters. And Alice gets one whole volume where she's with Haru on the cover. Also, the fact that Alice has just as much screen time as a main character gets in Grimgar for these 2 volumes, gets an entire fleshed out backstory, and you see Alice interact with people from their past throughout the 2 volumes of them in Pirano. Actually, even some recurring characters don't get this shit. We still don't know anything about Renji's past. So like, Alice is getting like main character treatment for these 2 books, but they just disappear after volume 14, and it's just an awkward feeling because like you can tell that the writer kind of wanted to make Alice a main character. For me, I suspect that the like light novel editors probably told them to not make them a main character for some reason or another. I don't know, but I really wish they kept them around. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, do you guys like Alice? Do you want Alice to come back and do more stuff in the story? I wouldn't mind if Alice had like an actual like interesting plot point in the story where they come back with their memories or something and help Haru do something. That'd be interesting. I just want them to do something. And I wish the writer of Grimgar would stop introducing characters that they kind of just drop through the story. Because, like, outside of, like, a handful of recurring characters, the rest of them just don't do anything. But hopefully they'll show up more in future volumes. And I'm going to go work on more videos. I'm actually probably going to work on a video where I want to talk about Firen. Thank you all for watching. If you guys want me to make more videos where I just kind of rant about random things about Grimgar, let me know in the comments. I don't mind just going on random rants. If you guys want to give me like topics where you want me to go rant about, let me know in the comments. I like talking about Grimgar, just like off script and just fucking around. Thank you all for watching. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.